Hey y'all, it's Big Mama.
And Fat Daddy of Big and Fat.
And who are you?
Kaden.
Kaden. So tonight's video, we are going to talk about autism and some misconceptions of it. And no, you may learn a few things that you're doing right, or a few things that you might need to change. um, in the autism world, along with every other thing, there's always controversy about the way that people are labeled, so on and so forth. And so please know this is our opinion. I do think our opinion lines up with the majority, but there's that. So there is controversy a little bit over, I don't know if controversy is the right word. So, difference of opinion on if person first or diagnosis first should play a role. So, someone with autism versus an autistic person. So, what are you?
An autistic person.
Okay, can you tell us why?
Because you don't just. It's basically calling someone an autistic person is like saying someone got the corona. Like
saying someone with autism.
Yeah, someone with autism is like saying someone with the coronavirus. Like,
yeah. So, what he's trying to say is he's not someone just he is not. He doesn't just so happen to have autism. He is an autistic person. So just like just like I am a female, he is an autistic person. That is who he is. He will always have it. Autism isn't something that you grow out of. It's not something that ever goes away. I will say that over, Caden's 15 now, and over his lifetime, things have improved. His with him, and life is easier. I don't even know to say life is easier for him is the thing. It's easier for me. And what I mean by that, Kaden used to have a whole lot of meltdowns, things like that. So I guess easier for him would play into this too. I just want to make sure I'm not saying the wording things wrong here. Kaden used to have a whole lot of meltdowns and things like that, and so that would be very hard for us to deal with. As Caden's gotten older, those are very few and far between anymore. And so in turn, it's easier on him. It's less stress on him. When kids with autism have a meltdown, this is not a temper tantrum. It's not a fit. It's not anything like that. It's something that's beyond their control. They, as much as we don't want them to have a meltdown, they don't want to have one. This stems, not all the time, but often, a lot of times, from not being able to verbalize feeling, emotions, wants, needs, those kind of things. So he's an autistic, he is an autistic person. He is not someone with autism. So when I talk about him, I do not say, my son Kaden is 15 and he has autism. I say, my son Kaden is autistic and he is 15. I know that doesn't seem like a big deal probably to most of you, but that's a little bit of understanding why he is and prefers to be referred to as an autistic person, not someone with autism. What about when people say you don't look autistic? Well, he doesn't look autistic.
Nor does anyone else with autism. Yet they are. The looks don't matter. Like the thing is, never judge a book by its cover, because it's a book. It's the cover of a book. The inside is different.
Yeah. So, autism does not have a look. It's not Down syndrome. If you see someone that has Down syndrome, then you're like, oh, okay, they have Downs. Like this is something that is that has a look, that is noticed. People, autistic people There is no look. They come in all different shapes, sizes. There's no physical characteristics of autism. So to say, well, he doesn't look autistic, I heard all the time whenever he was little, he's so handsome. He doesn't look like he has autism. What does autism look like? Would generally be my response. There is no look. What about when people say like high functioning or low functioning, or like people think here's a good example of that. People will say, well, he's hardly autistic because he talks. What do you think about it?
That means nothing. Because anyone could have high autism and talk like I am. I have high autism and I can talk fine. And like the one of the lower ones is like they're still the same. Everyone that has the same autism, maybe some have more or less autism, but everyone has high autism no matter what. Unless there's someone like less autism and more like everyone else.
So,
But I have a feeling that's a lot more rare.
So
if you're
functioning
autistic.
labels, they're not important.
No.
Okay. I think what he's trying to say. So, if we were functioning label, like giving functioning labels, Kaden would be more middle of the road. People will assume that because he talks, because he's verbal, that he must be high functioning. Because like my best friend's daughter is non or limited verbal, and two of my best friends, one boy and one girl, have neither non-verbal or limited verbal children, and people would look at them and consider them low functioning because they don't speak. So that is not the case at all. There are things that are non or limited verbal children do. Could you please stop biting your nails?
Sorry.
That's real gross. That they do, that is I lost my train of thought. Let me get myself together. Okay. There are things that our non-verbal or limited verbal friends do, or have the abilities to do, that far exceed Kaden a lot of times. Just because he is verbal doesn't mean that he is high functioning. Just because they are nonverbal does not mean that they are low functioning. They could excel way more in academics than he does. They could, for instance, do you care if I talk about you?
Yep.
Things that you can't do? Okay. For instance, Kaden cannot tie his shoe. They might be able to do that. Kaden has very poor motor skills, fine and gross. And so doing things like that are very hard for him, where, our other friends may be very agile and be able to do all of those things. Putting functioning labels on people, or on autistic people, if you say high functioning, then you are taking away from the supports that high functioning individual still needs. And so you can't, by doing that you think that you're like helping them, but you're not. It is actually a hindrance to them, because you're saying that you don't need things that other people need, and that's simply not true. Just because someone is, in your opinion, by looking at them as high functioning, doesn't mean that they don't need lots and lots of support. By saying that someone is low functioning, then you're taking away from all of the gifts and abilities and that they have. You're taking away essentially from their intelligence whenever you say low functioning, and that is simply not true. The ability to speak has no, just because you can't speak does not mean that you're not smart. It doesn't mean that you can't do all of these other things. We should always, no matter what, presume competence with anybody, whether they're verbal or not. There was another one that I had. What about when people say that, like, girls can't have autism?
one of my sisters and my own best friends, because they went to swim, because they were like, was it the Olympic swim or something?
Special Olympic.
Yeah, Special Olympic swimming. We were on a team, and the whole team is just full of autistic people, along myself. I'm pretty sure 2 or 3 of them were females, and they had autism. So that is a complete lie entirely.
Yeah. So as women, as females, we tend to be really great at masking. We it is just a characteristic of ours. And so as girls become older and older, they become better and better at masking what is going on. This is why there is such trouble. All of the testing that is set for autism is definitely set for males. It's not set for females. In general, most of like, especially if you have boy and girl children, that girls tend to mature faster than boys. They tend to do a lot of things faster than boys. And so whenever you look at a scale of this, even people who, autistic people, that could be the case for them as well. And so, oh, well, because this girl is doing this at 7 years old and this boy is not, does not make, her any less autistic than he is. There is a huge stigma in the autism community that, girls don't have autism. We're here to tell you, we have lots of girlfriends that have autism. It is very real. It is, we even have friends that we know are probably on the spectrum and undiagnosed because they're just so fantastic at masking. Especially around the middle school age, we do wonderful of copying our friends and appearing neurotypical. So, what are some things that neurotypical people could do to help autistic people in the world?
Give them time and patience, help them, and just don't try to be nice as you can to them. Like, have patience, have time. You ain't gonna go nowhere. This world is still gonna be here. If it ain't, oh well, we're gonna have a new world. We're gonna have a God. You're fine. So stop being a baby about it and just focus on it.
So Kaden has a lot of problems. I don't. Our camera may be doing this the whole time through this video. Kaden has a hard time being still. He has a hard time focusing, and he has a delayed processing time. And so when something is asked of him, or too many things are asked of him at one time, that is just not something that he can do.
If you give him a list of chores, you have to give him one at a time and let him finish the first thing before he goes to the next one.
Right. So let's say that we're trying to get out the house, and I say, okay, go brush your teeth, put deodorant on, get your shoes on, and let's go. I can do that with Savannah. That is never happening with Kaden. And so we say, okay, you need to go brush your teeth. And he brushes his teeth. Did you put deodorant on? Okay, let's go ahead and put deodorant on. All right, we got to get our shoes on because it's time to go. And then he can put his shoes on. If I tell him all 3 things, he might do one of them or none. Also, sometimes whenever especially if he's under stress, you ask him a question or want him to do something, he may just look at you for a minute before it either registers to him what you said, or it can register enough that he knows to ask for further instruction. So the processing time is delayed. If Joellen, or anybody asks me, how are you doing? Oh, fine. If you ask Kaden, how are you doing? He might just look at you for a minute and then say, I'm doing really good. Because he has to take in what you've said and then form the answer for it. It's not just an automatic response like ours, or like mine would be. And so there's some processing delays. So that's where the patience comes in, is to be patient. Know that multiple tasks can't be done at a time, and just be kind. And really, we should just, and accepting, we should just be this way with everyone. It doesn't matter if someone has autism or not. It's just, we just need to be kind and patient with each other. That's hard. Are you tired?
Most I'm tired of it is people not waking up right now and actually seeing there's other people than just the normal humans.
The neurotypical. Is it hard? Is it hard to live in this world as an autistic person?
Not really.
No.
It can be sometimes, but not really.
Yeah. Do you think people are pretty accepting of you? Do you care if they are?
No, not really.
This is the beauty. So, can you think of anything else? I really encourage you guys to look up. There's a hashtag. It's hashtag actually autistic. There are all kinds of groups out there. Look it up and see what they have to say. I mean, there's some really great information out there from people who are actually on the spectrum. There's a Red Instead campaign. I encourage you to look it up. There's a lot of really good, if any of you are interested, let me know. I can definitely put you in the right direction. But he's very lovey. He loves his mama. This is why he's my favorite. Don't tell the other two.
She tells them the same thing, so don't listen.
Don't tell the other two. Do you tell your sisters that you're my favorite? No? Why? They get all moody about it?
Probably.
Yeah, but you just know you're my favorite?
Second, because Molly's the first.
Yeah, you're my second favorite.
Yes.
Yeah. But my favorite, like, human child.
Half.
Okay. All right. Well, I think we're done for tonight. So, till next time, when you know better,
You do better.
see ya.
Bye.
Peace.
Bye. Oh, did you want to sign us out? Did you want to say that? When you know better, do better?
If you know better, do better. Don't act up, or else your mama's probably gonna spank you.
That's right. Bye.
Bye.
Trying to find my button.